Have you ever thought about how my gym partner is a monkey? Not you, me. My gym partner is a monkey. Monkey, monkey, monkey. Anyways, hello everybody, welcome to another episode of That Manga Dude. Today we're going to be talking about my reading log for June and July. It's almost like the follow-up episode to my pickups video for June and July. I always do this, I do like doing the reading log just because I feel like I can give like mini reviews of everything. Usually with the pickups video, I try to just show what I got versus like what I read because they're not necessarily always the same. And I prefer to just show what I purchased like during the month. And then with the reading log, I can give those like little reviews and give you guys like some thoughts and analysis or whatever the hell you want to call it on books and manga. And yep, that's what I do. So, whoa, let's stop fiddling around. Let's get going. Woo! Alright, so I started off pretty cool with June, starting off with Black Clover Volume 29. And yeah, overall, just a really good volume. Like, I feel like I don't know if I might be going crazy, but are the Black Clover releases getting longer in terms of like instead of 2 months, 3 months? I might just be forgetting things because I guess I tend to read a lot, so it's kind of hard to remember all these things. But yeah, overall, very good volume and really excited to see more. I feel like the current arc that's going on in this specific volume, and of course some of the previous volumes, is probably one of the better ones, or at least in my opinion, one of the better ones. I did really like the past arc, which was the Elves, or whatever you want to call it, arc, and now we're in the Spade Kingdom arc, so yeah, excited to see where this one goes. Up next, I read volumes 8 and 9 of Again. So I've been talking about this series a lot because, like, I've been reading it a lot. I'm really glad I have. I know I'm getting pretty close to the end. I think I'm only 3 volumes away. But, like, just, like, so many, things are just happening within the story. The romance is interesting, and hopefully it goes somewhere well, I would say. I know romance series don't tend to always go the best way. But I'm really excited to see where Mitsuru Kubo decides to go with this series, because I'm really enjoying it right now. The sci-fi elements are really cool. The slice of life elements are really nice. Everything's doing pretty well, so excited to see where it goes. Up next, I had to read it. I finally read A Bride's Story Volume 13, and it's been like a very long time since Volume 12 came out. I mean, I feel like I've seen Volume 12 on shelves for a while, but Volume 13 finally came out this year. I showed it in one of my pickups videos, I think in May. And yeah, it's fantastic work as always. It's really just nice to see Kaoru Mori's work, or more of it being brought to the U.S. and hopefully Emma reprints decide to get to bigger retailers, like to start to see them in Barnes & Noble or something, because I would really like to read that series at some point. But talking about A Bride's Story, yeah, this is a great volume. Of course, I really do enjoy A Bride's Story. I've been nonstop talking about it in basically every reading log because I've been reading it pretty religiously, I would say. But now it's going to be a long wait until Volume 14, whenever that happens to be. But yeah, amazing volume. Of course, I had to talk about Forget Me Not Volume 5, because it's another series I don't shut up about. Yeah, this is a really good one. It introduced one of my favorite characters, who's on the cover here. I'm not going to say her name, or what exactly she is, but let's just say, our main character finally gets a decent relationship, in my opinion. Where it seems like both of the characters seem to want to go, or like want to have a specific relationship. Unlike some of the previous relationships where the main character's really just like being a jerk about it, or the main interest, the love interest, just doesn't seem to want to be, or is questioning and stuff like that. It doesn't want to hurt others. It's like, I don't know. It's if you've heard me talk about Forget Me Not in previous episodes, I think it's an interesting story. It's a very sobering look. Usually on like the harder parts of relationships, whether that be breakups or arguments or just overall misunderstandings and discussion and communication. And I think that's really appreciated by me, especially because they don't make the main character out to be a good person, because he does a lot of hurtful things to a lot of the people in his life. Not just the significant others and the love interest, but also like to his friends, to his family. So yeah, I really do enjoy this series, and this was another really good volume. Up next, I read the one-shot She and Her Cat, with a story by Makoto Shinkai. If you don't know, that's the director behind Your Name And I believe Weathering with You is his other film. He might have another one, but those are the two that I can remember off the top of my head. And then the art is by Tsubasa Yamaguchi. And if you couldn't tell, same artist, manga behind Blue Period, which is, if you didn't know, one of my favorite current series releasing. And yeah, this was really cool. I mean, this was just a really interesting story, being told through, like, a cat's perspective as well as, like, this girl's perspective. Just a really interesting look on, solidarity, or not solidarity, but, like, being alone, I guess, and it's the struggles of adulthood and all that stuff, and finding solace with an animal or with a pet. And yeah, it's just really nice. I mean, it's very sad. I'm just gonna say that right out loud. Yeah, it'll make you very sad, and if it doesn't, well, I mean, that's fine. You know, you can have whatever emotions you have. But for me, yeah, this was very, very sad, and just overall, just a very good piece of work. Tsubasa Yamaguchi, you could tell they're just getting used to what their what their like art style is gonna be. Like, it's still very much Tsubasa Yamaguchi, but you could tell that in Blue Period they really put it together. So yeah, it's just a really nice, interesting look to see this. And it's a pretty good read. It's very short. Took me about like 30 minutes. I would suggest it. It's pretty good. Up next, I read Volume 3 of Idle Dreams by Arina Tanomura, and I've been saying this ever since I started reading it. I really like this series. I think it's very fun. I like that the main character is actually an adult, although she does turn into a kid. So, you know, there's some flexibility there, but I do think it's really interesting that it is a older main character in a shoujo series. And yeah, I've just been enjoying it. If you guys have any suggestions for shoujo series that are like Idle Dreams, please let me know, because I've been really much enjoying this, and I think I'm about halfway through the series. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, this is a pretty fun one. Of course, had to talk about it. Hell's Paradise, Volume 7, Yuji Kaku. Another fantastic volume. I've been loving Hell's Paradise from when I started, I believe, earlier this year. And it's just been a wild ride. And I know this is, I think, the halfway point in the series. I think there's 13 volumes. And yeah, just remarkable. It's a great series. The art's always amazing. Like I always say, the environments are beautiful. The fighting is great. The competitions are really nice. Overall, just like really cool character design. It's just super fun. And having the hardest time trying to find Volume 8, but once I do, I'm definitely going to read it, and I will talk about it. But yeah, this is a really good one. Up next, I decided to read the first volume of Bakugamon, also known as Backwards Game. Yeah, interesting kids, I guess Viz Kids manga. I don't know what categorizes a kids manga versus a normal one. I guess there's no death? I don't know. But it's overall just a fun time. I mean, it's a fun little, like, card game / like video game like thing where all these kids get brought into like this game, and if they do, they win like this special whatever. I believe it was a wish is what the prize is, but just overall really cool. And I mean, I don't know, the main character is cool, the monster designs are pretty neat. I think it's pretty fun, so yeah, definitely gonna be reading more of this. Up next, bought this on a whim. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this during my June pickup. But Nightfall Travelers, Leave Only Footprints, Volume 1 by Tomohi. This is a very fun series, or at least a very fun first volume. Really like the art, and I really like the storytelling. It's very nice slice of life mixed with like these supernatural-ish elements. I will say though, I don't know if this is the original print or if this is like how Seven Seas did it or whatever. But for some reason, like some of the backgrounds and stuff are really dark to the point where you kind of lose a lot of the detail that it appears that the artist has put in, and that's really unfortunate because I feel like, I don't know, it kind of loses some parts in my opinion because it's too dark. So yeah, if anybody knows about that, like if this series was a lot brighter when whatever it was printed on before, or if this was like a digital series and then it got printed into print, which is why it's having a hard time transitioning, please let me know because I actually don't know. But overall, it's pretty fun. The two main characters are really nice. Overall, just a really good time. The art style is great. I'm excited to read more. So, up next, I decided to read the second volume of Nightmare Inspector Yumekui Kenbun. I have talked about this. I read the first volume, I believe, either last not last month, but in May, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I thought the story was interesting. I thought the episodic nature of the series and the storytelling was really neat. I liked a lot of the abstract and surreal art, and that continues in this volume. This one actually probably has more than the first volume, and overall, I'm really much enjoying this series. And I'm not surprised that no one has talked about it, just because it's an older series, and like it seems like it's pretty hard to find. I mean, I've only seen the volumes here and there. I've just been lucky to pick up them in a consistent manner. So yeah, probably will be continuing to read this in the near future. Up next, I picked up, I would say, is one of the more, not necessarily enticing, but one of the series that people have been talking about a lot, especially for this year, and that is Summertime Rendering. This is Volume 1 from Udon Entertainment, and holy moly, this is awesome. This was an awesome read. I was thrilled. I was hooked from page 1, completely blown away by it. I mean, shoot, like, there's so much I could talk about with this series. Like, I could have honestly done an FVI on this, or a first volume impression on this, but yeah, just a remarkable first volume. I was completely drawn in. The art is fantastic. The story is interesting. It is, I wouldn't even say it's predictable. Like, it really kind of like got me with some plot twists. I think a lot of the art in terms of like, well, I probably shouldn't share too much of it, but the art is really good. The backgrounds are gorgeous. The characters' designs are pretty neat. Overall, this is just a remarkable release, and Udon Entertainment did a really good job. I know some people online have been getting all pissy and stuff about it, but like, there's like very little censoring in this series. I know people have been talking about it. It was a huge, I guess, blood in the manga community or whatever. But like, bro, you know, if you manage to care about that, get over it. You know, there could be a lot worse things that could be censored, and that is something that I think that I don't need to see as an adult. If you want to look it up, go look it up. I'm not going to say what exactly it is, but yeah, if you are mad about that, go touch some grass. That's about it. But yeah, this is a really good first volume. Definitely going to read the second one probably in August, so yeehaw. Up next, I read the second volume of Kichi and the Magic Books. I talked about Volume 1, I believe, also in May or sometime in April. But yeah, this is a really nice series. That another one that I'm not surprised anyone's talking about, just because, once again, it's an older one, and this one's from a publisher who's no longer around, which is CMX. And it's a shame, really, because like it's got gorgeous art. Once again, the story is really cool. I like the idea of like all the books are basically banned, other than from receiving them through a bookkeeper. So I just think that's really cool, and I think that like the art is gorgeous. I think that the books coming to life is really cool too. Overall, just a really great series, and I'm always curious as to what Taka Amano is up to nowadays. But if they had another series, I would definitely try and read it. Up next, I read everybody's favorite, Hunter x Hunter. This is volume 35. Yeah, it's a lot better than volume 34, because volume 34 really confused the crap out of me in terms of like where it jumped to in terms of the story. It might have made more sense weekly, but like being a published volume, it was very weird. But volume 35 is just talking more about like that boat or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, like the whale looking thing. And then like the big tournament between all these princes, and yeah, it's a lot more of a mind game than you would think. It doesn't have a lot of action in this volume, but there's like a lot of just thought processes and political discourse and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool, and I think Togashi did it pretty well. So definitely gonna try and find volume 36 so I could be done with the English print release for now. Of course, until more of it's written and more of it gets printed. But yeah, this was a good volume. Okay, I read more of everybody's favorite goated series, Berserk Volume 2. If you couldn't tell, I really don't like the word goat. I just like to say it for this series because I know a lot of people say that. And yeah, but overall, I like this volume a lot more than the first one. I think like the story is coming along really well, especially within the first two volumes. I thought that was neat. I like that there seems to be already some character development with Guts, which is also genuinely nice to see within the first two volumes. So hopefully, I can find some more of the volumes so I can start reading more. But yeah, this is a good one. Really happy to actually have started finally reading it after years and years and years of people telling me to check it out. So yeah, this is a good one. Okay, another one that got a volume 1. I had a lot of volume 1s. I noticed as I was picking the books out from my list. But yeah, I read the first volume, Blue Lock, and whew, what? I didn't know what I was expecting when I decided to pick this up and read it, because like what a lot of people think were saying, they were like, oh yeah, it's a really good sports series, and like it is bat crap crazy. Or I'm not gonna say the actual term, but this is so crazy and wild. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but it feels like if you took the ridiculousness of Prince of Tennis and Kuroko no Basket and just put it on steroids, that's what this is. Like, it just feels like completely out there, just very bizarre, very crazy, but honestly, the art's great. The story is not necessarily captivating, but it definitely got my attention. Yeah, overall, it's just very, very interesting, and I'm definitely going to pick up the second volume because I am hooked. Up next, I finally started Hoshin Engi, or Engi, I don't know how to say it. This is Volume 1, as you can see, by Ryu Fujisaki. This is a series that I have been advocating for people to check out, or just to, like, give it a glance, because, like, I think it's a completely underrated series. I read for Ryu Fujisaki's other series, which is Whack Whack, which I absolutely loved, and, of course, no one talks about it, unfortunately, maybe, like, one or two people, but this is their main work, or their longest work in English, and it's really great. I mean, I love it. I like that it's based on Chinese mythology. I like that the art is unique. It like harkens back to that 90s style, while also being like updated for the 2000s when it was releasing, at least releasing here. But overall, yeah, it's just really good, and I very much enjoy it. Definitely gonna be reading more of it in the near future. Of course. Smoking Parade Volume 3. As I've mentioned previously about this series, this is the creators behind Livingstone and probably their most famous work, which is Dead Man Wonderland. Another great volume, another just absolutely crazy volume. I was genuinely surprised about what happens in the middle of this one. There's a huge plot twist and a major character death that occurs, and it really took me aback. I was like, wow, they got me good. And that was just cool to see. I mean, because it doesn't, I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, but I think it's really interesting too that there's like there's like this part where the main team and the villain team both decide, hey, maybe we shouldn't fight each other, but it's on for different reasons, and I think that's really cool. What that means, you'll have to read it, but there's a minor spoiler, so yeah, it doesn't really make sense out of context, but definitely gotta check it out. If you do, this is a good one. Read more of Children of the Whales. This is Volume 4. I'm once again going to advocate for the series because, wow, the series is amazing, and it's got like one of the coolest covers ever. It has like all this shiny stuff, and I just love it. Yeah, remarkable series. Art is great. This is the end of, I would say, like the first main arc, or whatever you want to call it, which is the attack on the sand whale, or I don't know what it's called. This is the War of the Sand Whale, or the Mud Whale, excuse me. I don't know why I said sand. Sorry, the Mud Whale. And yeah, it just gets you good. It hits you right in the feels, and I think that's really cool. Can't wait to see where this goes, especially because I am very behind, so I definitely got to read more. And the last volume that I read in June 2022 is Sailor Moon Volume 3. And so this is the end of the first main arc. So after watching the anime and watching like 55 episodes, I think, I always mix up the number, I'm sorry. So if you've heard me say 50, if you heard me say 60, it's probably true. I can't keep track of this stuff because like it's way too hard. I watch and read too much stuff that like it just makes my brain hurt. But anyways, this volume ends the first arc with Queen Beryl and all of that stuff. So it's completely different than the anime, and I thought that was just bizarre and kind of weird. But yeah, what a great volume, especially because we get the part where Chibiusa aims a gun at Sailor Moon, and you know that's like the best part of the series. So yeah, just exciting to see. But overall, yeah, really good art again. Can't wait to read more. Coming into July, let's go. Starting off with Komi Can't Communicate Volume 19. So, yeah, just another good read of Komi Can't Communicate. As I've said before, and quite often, this is a series I've come to very much enjoy. It's a really fun slice of life manga. Yeah, just I don't know what else to say about it. There's not much else to say about it, but yeah, still very good. Very much enjoyed it. Great art, semi-okay storytelling, and yeah, just really fun, wacky cast of characters. Good stuff. Up next, like I mentioned, I read volumes 3 and 4 of Nightmare Inspector. More of the same of what I said about volume 2. I really enjoy the episodic nature of everything. I do think that they're getting more into the main character's backstory and how that all comes together in a very, very sad story, I would say. So, really glad with where this is going and very excited to keep reading some more. Up next, I read Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 16. So I believe I was behind on this release because I think it came out in June, but I picked it up in July. And I didn't read it until after I got back from vacation. But, yeah, this is finally finished up the Shibuya incident, so we're moving into the next arc. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see where it goes because we got some returning characters, which is really exciting to see. Definitely going to be happy to pick up Volume 17 when that comes out. Coming up next, we picked up and finished reading Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexo Volumes 8 and 9. Yeah, this was weird. I would say this is probably one of the weirdest endings to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that I've read. Mostly because, like, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, I mean, yeah, is also very weird, but, like, at least it kind of, like, comes together a little bit better. With Zexo, it's, for me, it's a little bit more far-fetched. Yeah, it's fictional story and stuff like that, but yeah, it's just kind of weird. I mean, of course, Astral just being there in the first place is just really weird. But yeah, I just think it ends kind of odd. But overall, it's still very good. I'm really happy that I finished reading this, and rest in peace to Kazuki Takahashi because, yeah, your impact on me and millions of others cannot be understated. So thank you for your work, Kazuki Takahashi, and may you rest in peace. Up next, I read Genshiken Volume 2. So, I actually went on like a I want to say like a hiatus of sorts on this series. I read the first volume and I was like, well, this is great. And then I decided to not read it. Mostly because it's a pretty dense read. They usually take me like 45 minutes to an hour to read these things because like some of the text is just like really long. And yeah, but like overall, it's still very fun. If you don't know much about this series, Genshiken is basically about this club, which is like an anime, manga, nerdy kind of club in general. And all they really do is just sit there and kind of do nothing. Talk about anime, cosplay. They go to like comic conventions and other stuff like that. So yeah, it's basically just the life and story about these characters, and it's pretty funny. It's very raunchy. It's very old school in terms of its comedy. But if you like that kind of stuff, this is like right up your alley. It's very fun. Up next, read volumes 7 and 8 of Silver Spoon, and yeah, they're kind of devastating, especially the end of Volume 7 going into Volume 8. Still kind of weighs heavily on my brain. It's just, I don't know, it's such a fantastic series. I really do like Silver Spoon, and I think Hiromu Arakawa really knocked it out of the park with the slice of life, like school life, farming sim series. I don't know why I said farming sim. It's just a series about farming and agriculture and all that kind of stuff. And then all of like the complexities and intricacies of it all. And yeah, it's very informative and it still manages to weave a very good storyline throughout it all. All the characters are very lovable, and I'm like crying on the inside just looking at the covers. So yeah, I need to go get Volume 9 as soon as possible because yeah, Volume 8 made me very sad. Up next, I read One Punch Man Volume 12, and yeah, it's more One Punch Man. I think I've mentioned this previously, and if you don't know my opinion on One Punch Man, I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I think it's okay. I do think it has some enjoyable parts, but I also think that it's very repetitive and doesn't really go anywhere. Not that I'm expecting it to, but like, I don't know. I like it more now than I did around like the Volume 7, Volume 8 point. I think it got a little stale for me, but I think it's definitely got an upswing for me. Definitely going to pick up more volumes when I can, but yeah, this was a good one. Up next, I read Volume 5 of Nodame I don't know how to say this. You say it, okay? You say it, and then well, I guess you can't really write out how you say it. I mean, I guess you can, but well, whatever. Anyways, really great series about music and just an overall fantastic volume. I'm so glad I managed to find a volume 5 in fairly good condition. I mean, it's a little bit wonky, as you can kind of tell, but like honestly, for the price I got it for, and for being able to find it in the first place, is like, who cares? I guess. But yeah, this is a really fantastic series. I very much enjoyed this volume. Yeah, it's just a lot of the characters are really starting to develop further beyond like their initial like introductions. So that's cool, and excited to read volume 6 when I'm able to get it. Oh right. Now probably the series that I read the most of is this trunk here. This is Pretty Faces volumes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that's the entire series, or mostly the entire series minus volume 1. And for the most part, honestly, this was great. I very much enjoyed reading it. It's a good 6-volume read. Definitely some stuff has aged very poorly, and that's to be expected for, that 2000s comedy. But to give you a premise of the story, if you don't know, basically the main character, Rando, is killed in a car accident, or supposedly killed in a car accident, but he wakes up in a doctor's office, and his face has been surgically changed into the face of the girl that he's in love with. So he has to basically play as that girl's sister, who has conveniently gone missing. So it's about him trying to adjust to school life and adjust to being a girl in this situation. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some very heartfelt moments, and I really enjoy a lot of the character interactions between Rando and then all of the girls and all of the other guys who are scared of Rando in his past life, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, definitely some of the comedies aged very poorly. Some of the themes are not necessarily the best. I do think its tackling of LGBT stuff is hit or miss. I think some parts are okay, like oh wow, that's pretty impressive for the 2000s, but then other parts are like, oh, that's really cringe. So I would say read at your own risk, but I very much enjoyed it. So yeah, I might pick up Yasuhiro Kano's other series that's coming out right now, which is, I think it's Kuru Kill Me. So yeah, I'll let you know how I feel about it when I get it. Right, here we go into the last volumes that I read during July. So, up first is Golden Kamui Volume 1 by Satoru Noda. If you don't know how I feel about this, you should go watch my FVI about this series. But to give you the short TLDR, I loved it. I thought the art is great. I think it starts the story off really well, and I'm really excited to read more. But yeah, really great stuff. Go check out that other video, though. Up next, I read Blue Period Volume 7, and oh my goodness. Being an art student, this volume specifically hit way closer to home than it needed to. Yeah, I definitely felt sympathetic towards the main character. I think a lot of things that happen at the first part of his art college career is like almost exactly what happened with me. And yeah, it definitely was like weird to read it, because I'm like, wow, that means that the artist of this series, Tsubasa Yamaguchi, had that same kind of experience, or was able to create the series so well that the experience feels real. So wow, just astounding work, fantastic volume. Getting a little choked up, but this is a really good volume. And I read the first volume of The Elusive Samurai by Yusei Matsui, which, in my opinion, has one of the best front covers I have seen released this year. Like, super gorgeous. Holy moly. But yeah, to give you an idea, I thought the series was pretty cool. What it basically is basically about the samurai here who has his like entire family killed off basically, and he escapes, and like his like special quirk or whatever you want to call him is that he's an okay fighter, but he's really good at dodging and like escaping. So that's why his name is the Elusive Samurai. So it's about his journey and in terms of taking back what is rightfully his, or whatever you want to call it, or basically his journey to redemption. It's odd, it's bizarre, it's exactly what you'd expect from Yusei Matsui, which I believe is the same manga behind Assassination Classroom, which it is. Yeah, just weird stuff. And I'm definitely liking this more than Assassination Classroom, because I don't know if you guys know, or if anybody knows, but I'm not the biggest fan of Assassination Classroom. I thought that it got very stale very quickly for me. I think I got up to volume 7 and I kind of stopped. Probably will finish it at one point, but yeah, this was a really good first volume. Can't wait to read more of this. Up next, I finally got to number 5, volume 1 by Taiyo Matsumoto, and wow, I can't believe I waited on this, because like this was remarkable. I was like completely floored by everything. The art is fantastic. Taiyo Matsumoto is like just absolutely killing it with environments, with character designs, with just everything really. I've always enjoyed Taiyo Matsumoto's work. I'm still looking forward and trying to get Takon Kinkreet, or whatever it's called in like the manga form. I think it's just called Black and White. But yeah, this was a remarkable first volume. If you don't know what it's about, basically it's about this dude who's he's number 5 out of like this team of assassins slash peacekeepers, or whatever you want to call them. He's gone on the run with this lady here on the front cover. So basically it's about his former team coming after him, and his discovery of life, love. Funny enough, it's like live, laugh, love the manga. I think is the best, worst way to describe it. But yeah, absolutely remarkable piece of work. A fantastic first volume. Really excited to pick up the other volumes, because I should have done that ages ago. You know, I'm just looking at it now. I read a lot of like really good first volumes, and another one is Emanon Volume 1. Wow, I'm so happy that I finally decided to read this, because this was remarkable. It's so funny, because it sounds so repetitive, because it's like, wow, I love all these series that I decided to pick up because I thought they were good, because I guess I was just right. So yeah, this is another remarkable one where basically it's a story about this girl and this guy who meets her on the boat, or a cruise, or like a cruise ship, this kind of thing. Basically, they're taking him to an island, and it's about their story of connection and remembering like each other, and like just like being able to meet strangers, and like, or good strangers, I'll say, good strangers, and stories, and just storytelling in general. I was taken aback, and I was eating this stuff up like it was so good. Definitely got me at parts, and I think a lot of the storytelling is great. I think the ending is also really good and made me kind of choke up a bit. And yeah, I would say go into this as blind as possible, because yeah, it's a remarkable piece of work. Definitely go check it out. Okay, up next, I read Mashley, Magic and Muscles Volume 7, and I will say that this volume definitely resold me on it, because I think I mentioned previously that some of the previous volumes have kind of left me a little bit wanting more, I would say, where like the comedy started to get a little dull, but I think the action was really brought up in this one, and really interested to see where this goes, because the end of Volume 7 was a huge plot twist, and I'm like, what? So, exciting to see what happens in Volume 8. Up next, another surprise, I would say, Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible, Volume 2 by Nene Yukimori. I mentioned when I read the first volume that I was like, that was okay, but I would say that this is a very good second volume. It's definitely a lot better than the first volume. I actually like it a lot more. You get to see a lot more character development between everybody, and it's just like, I don't know, it felt more cute, or more what I expected the first volume to be. So yeah, happy to see that it bounced back from what I would say is not the best first volume, but yeah, would I say it's worth a buy? If you like Komi, it's along that same idea, except for the roles are reversed, where the main girl is like, well, I won't say the roles are reversed, but let's just say that the female character is popular and the boy character is the quiet one. But I don't know. I would say check it out at your own discretion. If you're able to like read the first chapter at Barnes & Noble, or like on the Viz app or wherever, yeah, I would say check it out there before deciding on the first volume. Up next, another remarkable one-shot I read, Rabbit Game by Miyoshi. If you don't know it, go check out my FBI. Did a more full review of this on a video, so yeah, definitely give it a check out. And shout out to Glacier Bay Books for bringing it to us, because it's really cool that we get to see more indie manga brought to us in English. And I read a whole bunch of Sakura Hime. I read volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6. And yeah, I am invested. If you couldn't tell, I really love the covers. I think the art is great. I think this is one of Arina Tanemura's better looking series. I think like the visuals are just super cool. I like the historical fiction to it and everything. Yeah, it's just super cool. Really excited to see where this goes. I do have volume 7 still to read, the ones that I own, but hopefully I'll be able to pick up more volumes so I can keep on reading it and keep on talking about it, because yeah, it's a cool series. Very much enjoy it. Alright. I got to read Fury Beyond Journey's End, Volume 5. And, yeah, I thought Volume 4 ended on a pretty good note. And Volume 5, once again, remarkable. I thought it was super cool. You get to learn more about mages and all of their background, especially with the tests and the ridiculousness of it all. Yeah, interested to see where it goes, because like I was not necessarily floored, but I definitely have been very much enjoying where the story is going. I think it has that perfect mix of slice of life and action, like mystery kind of stuff. So super cool. Definitely gonna pick up Volume 6 when it decides to come out, which I think is in 2 months, so, or maybe next month. I don't know, but when it does, I'll definitely pick it up. Haha, yeah, I talked about Volume 5, and now here's Volume 6 of Forget Me Not. Just read this very recently, actually, probably within the past week. And this is probably my second favorite volume. I think Volume 5 is still my favorite, but Volume 6 is like, it just ends in a way that's like, whoa. Like, that's kind of crazy. It's like the first time where the main character didn't necessarily do anything wrong, per se. It was just like there was just a split between him and one of the love interests in the series. Yeah, definitely wasn't what I was expecting, and very much enjoyed it. I think the next volume is the last one, so it's going to be bittersweet to finish it, but it is a bittersweet series, so that's what I expected. Anyways, coming into the last 2 volumes, I read Shadow's House, Volume 1 by Matsumoto. Everyone and their mothers was talking about this series and was like, or talking about it coming to English, because they were like, oh my goodness, this is an absolutely remarkable series. And you know what? They were right. This was absolutely gorgeous. I thought the art is remarkable. There's just a lot of really great parts. Perspective is done really well. Composition is done really well. The backgrounds are done really well. Character designs for the dolls are great. I won't say much on the shadows because there's not much to talk about. It's just an outfit and the color black. So, I mean, take that as you will. But I think the idea of everything is really cool. I think, like, it's a unique take on this, like, sci-fi / fantasy / like mystery story, I guess. But really excited to see where this goes, because I think it was like just a really nice mix of like fantastic storytelling and great art. I mean, what can you ask? Can you ask for more? I mean, I guess you could, but yeah, this was a very, very good first volume and just really good series in general. So excited to read more. Read more of it. And the last volume I read in July and the past 2 months, it is Go For It Again, Nakamura by Sunday. If you didn't hear me talk about the first volume, I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. I love the art because it has like this, like, once again, harken back to like the 80s, 90s style, but pruned up or done like futurized it or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, just overall fantastic. I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing at so many different parts of this series. Probably one of the funniest like series that I have read over the past 6 months. So definitely a must. I would say a pickup for sure if you like comedy series. Just as a note, as you couldn't tell by the front cover, it is a LGBT-ish series. Like, there are definitely LGBT moments and elements, but for the most part, it hasn't gotten to that point yet. So, yeah, just as like a heads up. I don't know if that was the right way to say it. Maybe not. But I think, yeah, this is a very fun comedy LGBT plus series. Definitely check it out. So, okay, so it says the BL rom-com, so I guess it is. Let's just say that it hasn't happened yet. But it is very cute. Definitely give it a shot. And that's going to do it for this episode of the manga reading log for June and July 2022. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you read over the past 2 months, because I'm really curious. I really want to know what you guys are checking out, because it might be what I read next. And yeah, that'd be nice. I always appreciate suggestions and everything else. But if you like this video, you can like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. And yeah, I really appreciate all those things. If you didn't do that and you made it to this part of the video, you're awesome because you watched like 30 minutes of a dude talking about books. So, yeah, and that's going to be it. So, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye-bye-bye.